Hi guys, my name is Teacher Rachel. I am with Say ABC. Before I joined up with them though, I taught for VIPKID for about a year. And I just kind of wanted to tell some other VIPKID teachers why I thought it was a good idea for me to switch to Say ABC. So during the time that I taught for VIPKID, there were several things that I felt were very frustrating. First of all, a lot of my students didn't always show up. I would have trials, and the trials almost always didn't make it, or even my regular students would randomly not show up, which I found that to be kind of stressful and then also disappointing. A lot of times they might cancel like right before the 24-hour cancellation mark. So I didn't like that aspect very much of having random holes in my schedule that I couldn't really control or plan. Then another thing that I was always kind of stressed out about was the feedback. Having to give feedback every time, trying to make it long enough, trying to make it detailed enough. I was always kind of trying to find other resources. I used Feedback Panda for a while, but then it still took a long time because you still had to do all the UA reports. So with Say ABC, you only give feedback every 3 lessons. So each unit is 9 lessons long, and you give feedback each 3 lessons. So on the 3rd, the 6th, and the 9th lesson. So I find that to be a lot less time consuming and a lot less stressful. I will give usually very similar feedback for that class, and then just customize a few things for each student. That makes it pretty quick, and I'm not in there racking my brain like, okay, what did we cover, like every single time. So I do like that aspect also. Another thing that I enjoy is that they book the classes for you. And because I came over as an experienced VIPKID teacher, I had no trouble getting an almost completely full schedule right out of the gate. The Say ABC teacher support people, even though they're very busy right now because they've taken on a lot of students, they are really trying to get good teachers in there and support them and make sure that those teachers are happy, which is really good for us. That kind of puts us in the driver's seat and gives us more of the control. You just open whatever slots you want, and they are pretty sure to get booked. Now, there are a lot fewer slots available. With VIPKID, you can open any random time, day or night, and maybe you'll get booked. With Say ABC, they mostly focus on those like peak times, and so those were the times that I wanted to work anyway. I usually get up early and then teach until my kids are up. Right now I'm in Central Time Zone, so I teach from 5 till 8:10. So that's 4 classes, 3 hours. Each class is only 40 minutes long, and then a 10-minute break. So for each hour, you're actually getting a little bit more. You're not getting the 2 classes, but over the 3 hours, I get 4 classes in, if that makes sense to you. Plus, the pay is a lot better. It's $15 base pay, but when you complete the 9 lesson unit, you get an extra $6 added back onto each previous class. So that turns out to be $21 per 40 minutes. So in my 3 hours a morning with 4 classes, I'm making over $80 instead of teaching for 4 hours in the morning to make $80. Does that make sense? So I feel like that's a much better use of my time. I get a whole extra hour in my morning, and I'm still making what I need to make. So I really enjoy that aspect also. I also love that it's a 10-minute break in between the classes. Like, you have no idea what a difference that 5 minutes makes. Like, you can actually get up and go to the bathroom. You can actually go pour yourself a cup of coffee and sip it for a minute before you have to start your next class. So that also reduced my stress a lot. With VIPKID, often I would run a minute or 2 over. Well, then you've only got 2 or 3 minutes to get over, get the next class loaded, and be ready to go. And I didn't get any feedback done. All my feedback would pile up for the end of the morning. Whereas with Say ABC, I don't have to worry about that feedback nearly as much, and I have the extra time that I need to actually get up, walk around a little bit, check on everybody, make sure I get a drink, before I have to come back and start the next class. So that was a lot less stress to me I feel like my morning as a whole is much more relaxed because I've already kind of gotten to go out and check on my kiddos and make sure that they're getting up and brushing their teeth and getting their cereal and things like that by 8 o'clock, basically. So that I think is a really good benefit of working for Say ABC. It is less stressful in general because you have a little bit more time to prepare. I also do really enjoy that it's more than one student. A lot of times with VIPKid, if you're stuck with one student and that student is struggling and it's just so painful for that one student, it's different with Say ABC because you can actually use a stronger student to model what you want to work on with that slide and then flip it over to the weaker student, okay? So a lot of times I will balance out. If I have one really strong reader and one poor reader, I'll have the strong reader read first so that the poor reader can at least get it in their ear. But then I might spend a little bit more time with that poorer reader at the end. So I do try to, it does take a little more thought and planning and strategy with more students, but it helps the class move along really well. And it does really help those poor students, those struggling students, to come up a little bit better. I would say that it is more challenging to try to find enough to put on the stronger students. I'll often tell them, read fast, working on the fluency. I might tell them, I might change it up and give them a different question, especially if I rotate who goes first and I have the stronger student last, I'll ask a different way to see if they understand and kind of stretch that comprehension. But for the most part, I would say it's really easy to work with the slides, to give the students a lot of interaction. I enjoy the platform a lot because it is very interactive and the students enjoy interacting with one another. They get to practice the questions and answers with each other, which I think is a really fun feature. It encourages that conversation and also the critical thinking, I feel like, as they go along. So those are my main reasons that I would recommend if you're a VIPKid teacher that you consider joining Say ABC. If you would please use my referral code, it would really bless me and really bless my family. But even if you don't, that is fine. I really enjoy the company, and it has been a huge stress reliever just to my morning to cut down from the 8 classes to only 3 classes and still make a good amount of money. So if you would like to join Say ABC and you have questions more about how to do that, please go ahead and reach out to me. I'm always glad to help people. I referred and helped people with VIPKid, and since I've moved away from that, now I'm like, you know what? I think a lot of people would like to know more about Say ABC, as it is a newer company, and they are growing very quickly. So reach out to me. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll try to make a follow-up video. If you would enjoy that, let me know.